Wat is liefde? Hey, hello. We are back in nature to ground myself because I just lost the relationship, the love, the girl I loved the most in my entire life. It was a difficult decision to take time and space between us. And still, it's been 1 month. Still, I'm very, very, very sad about it, and in a very emotional place all the time. So a friend told me just go to the nature. So here I am, and also I want to share some thoughts about our relationship, about love in general, and how to get over somebody and what real love is. So if you're interested, stay watching the video and enjoy. My first thought that comes up is that I think that love is like a house. If you feel at home with somebody, I think that's true love. Really, that person is your home, the person you feel warmth, the person that makes you feel comfortable, the person that you want to spend time with when you are like in trouble or when you feel sad or not good, just some place to withdraw. And it's interesting because if you can really feel home with somebody, I think then you really know that you found true love. And of course, people fall in love maybe in 1 second. Sometimes it's love at first sight. I'm not the biggest believer of love at first sight, but I do think that sometimes we see a house in somebody that reminds us of our own house, the house that we grew up in, right? And sometimes that's for the good, sometimes that's for the bad. So you could maybe have lived in a not so well house where there were things that were not okay, and because a new person with the same house feels so familiar that you can get attracted to that person. So that can be either good or bad. If you come from a good house, right, like finding a similar one will be nice. If you come from a house that is full of trauma, things that are not being processed or not has been healed yet, well, you should watch out. You should find out about yourself. What house am I looking for? Is this a house that is good for me, right? And in the end, then if you live in that house and the house feels good and you really feel home because you made it your house, I think that's what real love is. And time will create it, right? If you live long enough in a house, if the house is nice to you, you really learn to love the house. And I think that's what real love is. Real love is not based on the first moment, the first weeks. Real love is based on making something together, living that house together, and making your partner your home. So why did I decide to leave my house? Why? Why did I do it when it was such a difficult decision? And the reason for that was because it was so beautiful. There were rooms in the house that were so beautiful, more beautiful than I ever thought. And also the rooms, they taught me so much things. I was staying in the rooms because I learned so much about myself, about others, about relationships, about love, about a lot of things. But then the thing that was not good is that there were also rooms which were full of pain, full of unsafeness. I couldn't feel safe in those other rooms. And the problem with having both rooms was that I never knew which door I opened. And that's not safe. You want to have a home where you can open every door and you can feel safe in every door. And unfortunately, that's the reason that I'm not in the house anymore and that I need to find a new house. But the house needs to be totally safe. And either if it's not, you can make it safe together if it works, right? That's a job of love, and that's the love of a relationship. It's never done. You always keep building the house and keep making the rooms more beautiful and more safe until you found the perfect home. And if you can do that, you succeeded, and if you cannot, you need to move out or try something else. People always say you first need to love yourself before you can love others. And keeping with the house example, I think they are completely right. Imagine that you live in a house, or that you're homeless. If you imagine that you're homeless, you don't have a house yourself. What will happen if you encounter somebody with a house? Doesn't matter how bad the house is, you want to live there, no? Everything better than having no roof at all over your head. Well, really, if you can build a house yourself, which you feel safe, you feel comfortable, the only way you're going to move is if the other house, or the houses combined, are better than your own, right? So in that case, if you really want to find like a comfortable, beautiful house that is good for your health, well then make one yourself and be sure that you live in a house yourself that is comfortable, warmth and loving, so that you act out of abundance, not out of neediness. Nobody really knows how to keep the perfect house, but in the end it's all about learning to keep the house together and learning how to keep your own. Don't repeat the same mistakes as what you've learned while being a kid in that house, but think, learn together, improve together, and in the end you will have the best house you can imagine. Houses, they are not empty, they have a lot of stuff in them. They have furniture and other material. And how do you treat your own furniture and the stuff in your house? Do you treat it well? Do you treat it bad? I would say the best way to treat your stuff is with a lot of respect and great care. And inviting somebody in your house and making a house together means that you will have the same, you will need some kind of same respect. And if the other person does not respect your house or your stuff inside of your house, your furniture, that creates problems. And that's really something that needs to be in line with each other. And respect for one person can mean something different than respect for another person, right? So what I think real love is also understanding each other. How do you treat your stuff? How do you treat yourself? How do you treat others? And seeing how you can both come to the same respect and loving kindness to your house and to each other. And in the end, that will go a long way. But if there's one lesson I think that was for me the biggest, is love is something that you create, and love is something that you can always find, and love is something that you work for. It is not a magic thing. It is something that you decide, you work for, and you get together. It is so easy to feel rejected by your partner. Only one look, one word, and you already know something's up. And to really connect from vulnerability, openness, takes a really special kind of courage. Especially when you never seen it in your own house or in your own home growing up. To be able to share your vulnerabilities and then tell your partner, hey, this is what I'm feeling, and what you're feeling is always valid, right? So, and this and that, and maybe you can make me feel more supported or more safe by acting in this way, or maybe not doing this, or yes, doing that. But to approach from vulnerability and to tell somebody this is what I hope to achieve or hope to get because of my feelings, that is what makes you feel closer, and that's what makes you feel more connected. Sometimes things, they need to break in order for us to truly reflect and truly find and learn about ourselves and about others. Because when we're in a relationship, sometimes you don't see and you're comfortable and you don't reflect enough about the other and about yourself. Why are you doing things? Why do you have certain necessities? Those things are way easier to find out on yourself without anybody than being in a relationship. So for me, even though this is one of the most difficult months of my life, like it has been 1 month now, a bit more, I find a lot of happiness and joy in the things that I found and the wisdom that I've learned about myself. And I hopefully will not repeat it in the next relationship. I know how important boundaries are. I know about my own past, my traumas, what shapes me and what I'm looking for in another person, what is what I'm really looking for and what is my trauma response, more or less. So those are the good things we can enjoy and we can grow in.